is Meta. Tell us more, Anthony.
Sorry, I mean it's a bit meta, but it's Facebook that renamed itself to Meta. So yeah, I mean, look, it's a name change, yes. So and they have changed their ticker to MVRS or something. Curiously, they couldn't change it to Meta META because that's actually an ETF. And I mean, taking a step back, the whole metaverse thing, the modern culmination of it is by this guy called Matthew Ball. He has this 9-part, which is like a lot of the Rick's length articles on what the metaverse is and what he should look like. And he started an ETF, right? So you can buy a Meta ETF or you can buy Facebook. That calls itself Meta. But yeah, they changed their name. They changed some products. Their Oculus is no longer called Oculus. It's called Meta something, whatever. Facebook Reality Labs, which is the arm within themselves, is just called Reality Labs now. I think, look, there's a lot to unpack about it, and I think that the real changes are just beginning. This is a signifier of what's going to happen, right? I think they really see the writing on the wall for traditional social media, whether it's due to regulations, lack of growth, and I mean, look, is a big fan of Facebook, right? My $1 trillion market cap, they should be an evil company like Facebook. They shouldn't be Tesla.
Just had to bring up Tesla.
Anyway,
Had to bring up.
That's it's yeah, I just had to. They live rent free in my head. But yeah, it's going to be a change in emphasis, and that's actually made me reconsider whether I want to be a Meta shareholder. Sorry. So I used to think about that. The social media grows at 10-15% a year. They have optionalities in AR, VR. They are good at e-commerce, and they are getting there at e-commerce. They are getting there in payments. It's a steady compounder, right? And that just changed overnight. What they are doing is this coming year, they're investing $170 billion into the metaverse or creating the metaverse, whatever, right? We talk about Spotify hitting $1 billion in revenue. They're spending 170 times that on
look,
CapEx.
Those two are two different leagues. We should not even be comparing a $1 trillion
and that's one company.
Absolutely.
Right. No, but that gives you a sense of scale, right? Spotify is a great company, good market cap, world leader in audio, but this company is spending 170 times on CapEx alone it's not a year, it's over the next 10 years. So scale is slightly different. Fine. 17 times, not 170 times. Right. We have difficulty comprehending large numbers. This is a huge number. I don't know where it's going to go to. It feels as if that it's not a pivot, right? It's just a complete shift in strategy. I don't know if I want to be a shareholder anymore.
Yeah.
Right. That's a tough call to make, I think. But the stock price is liking it.
So you are invested in Facebook, or rather Meta now.
Happens.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I have
and here's a quick question, right? Obviously, Facebook since the few years ago, right, moving to Congress and having to answer for all its scrutiny and privacy and data and even posts that users post up, which clearly their T&Cs are ironclad. And do you think that Zuckerberg just had enough of this and said, you know what, I want to do what I actually want to do? This Facebook thing came out of nothing, right, of thin air from was it Harvard, right, that he was at, or MIT? I forgot. But one of them. It came out of nothing, but it gave me a good chunk of money. But now I can really do what I want to do. And this metaverse thing actually has been around for a while, right? So I do know that there's this thing called Earth 2, and you can actually go in and you can buy a plot of land. It's digital plot of land, digital assets, and you can actually go ahead and do that. Now, whether that was part of Meta, or whether that was part of the gentleman that you mentioned, Anthony, I'm not quite sure. I think that's more research I need to do on my side. But I can see that Zuckerberg's going, enough of this. I want to do what I want to do. And Facebook is not the way. I see Facebook is dying, and they know that because the users in Facebook is dropping, right? And I believe it's dropping at an alarming rate over the next 2 to 3 years. I'd rather forecast it to drop at such an alarming rate. They did an acquisition of Instagram in 2010, was it? And that was a brilliant move on their on their front. $1 billion at that point in time was unheard of. And now they're laughing, right? As the Aussies would say, they're laughing. A brilliant move. And now they're looking at the next step, right? So obviously they went into WhatsApp, they went into all those, but now they're looking at the next step. And this is something new. And I think that it's so unknown. And who would you want steering that ship? And I think that's the reason why the population or the market sentiment is that, you know what, maybe he knows what he's trying to do here. Which is the reason for the surprise.
Yeah, I don't know, right? So look, charitably, and I actually quite believe this. I think Mark Zuckerberg is fundamentally a product guy, right? He's like
he's a coder, isn't he?
Or,
he's a coder.
Bill Gates. He wants the product. Sorry. Yeah, he's a coder, right? Yeah. He's the technical guy.
No, he's not. But so he's more of a
he's not Steve Ballmer.
So he's more of Bill Gates,
or even Satya, who's brilliant.
Yeah, in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's the engineering guy. He's the product guy. He's the visionary. He's not the I'm optimizing a supply chain. So he's deeply technical, right? So, I mean, head on heart, I do think he wants to be back in the product. He wants to leave a legacy. He wants to guide the next generation of the internet, Web 3.0, whatever. I think, and he obviously can do it, right? He's 34. I mean, he's a year older than
34.
us.
Jeez.
Look at what he's done. Look at what we've done, right?
I know.
Yeah, he's only 34. It feels like he's been around forever. He's only 34. So look, obviously a brilliant guy. He's a bit like Elon Musk. A bit egoistical. He puts his mind to it. He can do it. Full faith in him. My concern really is, this is a paradigm shift, right? And every time, and this historically, if we look at paradigm shifts in technology, nobody actually knows what's coming up. So I don't know if you remember the first few smartphones, right? When we were in secondary school, and you could get a phone that could send an MMS and take a photo and play games besides Snake, and that's a huge deal, right? But at that stage, could you have said, I'm going to use this to order taxis around, right? Or to record a podcast, right? And we can share it simultaneously online. I think that's a leap beyond whatever could have been conceived at that time, right? And so, yes, he's a visionary. And that's the thing, right? But nobody knows what the metaverse will be. But nobody knows what it looks like. Nobody knows what it will look like, or even what it will likely to look like. So I think putting all your eggs in one basket and trusting Facebook to do it is a step too far. And that's the part that's concerning to me as a shareholder of Facebook. He probably could, but it's a long way away. It's risky. You buy Facebook. I mean, if you want risk, you buy other things, right? You don't buy Facebook. Facebook is a steady compounder to me. So my thesis, so that's completely changed my thesis. And I think I just can't, in good faith, keep my relatively big position in it.
I think that's fair on your side. But if you take a look at the other aspects, right? NFTs, digital currency, cryptocurrencies, all of these, and all the meme coins that we've seen, digital assets are a thing. Right? It's no longer the future that we were thinking about. It's the present. And it has been happening for at least a year or two that I know about. Right? Obviously, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency is a little different, but digital assets. So that's what I think he's looking towards. But instead of an NFT, it's a plot of land in a space that you can effectively, which could be an NFT.
Which could be an NFT, right? But, yeah, but it's the same. Right? I think, look, these concepts have been around for a long time, right? But is that a metaverse? Because second life, that you could do that in Second Life, and that was a decade ago, right? Was that the beginning of metaverse? Is Roblox, the beginning of Roblox? Sorry, the beginning of the metaverse, right? And that's the thing, nobody knows. And are we at Web 2.2, 2.5? 2.9, close to 3, again, nobody knows, because we just fundamentally cannot predict how technology will develop and when it develops, where it brings us, right? Or rather, I don't want to put money behind any prediction. or I'll put money across 10,000 different predictions and hope that one of them, pays 100,000 times, right? So there's a lot of ways to play this. I just don't think, So Facebook shouldn't be the only horse you bet on. I think the metaverse is coming. It will come in 10 years, hopefully. Not one of those, nuclear fusion 5 years away perpetually, but it will come in 10 years. And but it's not necessarily Facebook. It's not necessarily Amazon. It could be somebody we have not heard of. You could have use cases we have not thought of, and those will be the ones that make the real money, right? If everybody knows it and everybody can execute it.
I think, it's honestly for me, it's a question mark. We don't know where it's going to go. But what I do know is that some can be used now. For example, I think in his showing, because he dressed up, right? He showed himself as a little figure or as an avatar, and then he was going around and he chose his gray top with the jeans in the end, even after costumes. And he went in and he showed the different like virtual rooms and work rooms that Facebook employees were going in to use. And I do see that as quite good nowadays, given that we're all working from home and apparently there's this pandemic going on. I don't know if you realize. So with...
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought I just couldn't dine out for fun.
Yes, but it's because you have the kid, so you cannot get out of the house. That's actually. But so there's this real. Sorry, I dropped my mic. So there's this real impact when it comes to working from home, so on and so forth. So I think there is uses for it today. Where it's going to get to is the big question mark, and I agree with you on that. And I don't know. Obviously, you have a big stake. And it's too much of clearly a risk profile for you to have that. Maybe it throws all your numbers out of whack, right? So, fair enough.
I think fundamentally, if I were to play the metaverse, I think it's a picks and shovels play. You don't bet on the platform that will be the platform for the metaverse. You bet on what enables the technology to get there, right? So. Companies like Unity, Epic Games, Roblox, I can't pronounce them. Right. You know what I mean, right? Microsoft, because they own Roblox, you go for NVIDIA, you go for picks and shovels, right? Yes. Semiconductors, because you need them, obviously. And you are agnostic about who is the ultimate winner on the platform front, because I think that's just too hard to tell now, right? You can make a bet in 2 or 3 years when the major players emerge, but now to say that Facebook as a lead, I don't think we can even say that.